Hey everybody, this is Jesse here at Jesse Lee Strength and Fitness. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, or share if you feel so inclined. Today we're going to recap my strength session for week number 10. This includes the back squat, the bench press, and some arm work. If you've watched the channel, I have had a little bit of some issues from that kind of came up in the deadlift, but I think are a little bit more symptomatic of things that are maybe starting in the back squat and then shifting into the deadlift. I've sustained a little bit of some injuries on this right side as a kid. I broke my right foot. I've also had a hip impingement on this right side quite a few years ago. And I think there's still some lingering hip imbalances that are continuing to kind of show up in certain areas. I would say I'm like 75% better than when I started this mission. But now, as the weights get a little heavier, some things kind of start to show up a little bit. So I did a few tests today. I did what's called the FABER test, which is a laying on your back with your leg open and external rotation, and just found that the right hip was lacking a little bit of external rotation. And then when I did some single leg kind of glute bridge holds, I noticed that the left hip was lacking a little bit of stability. So when I squat, that would cause my hips to do a shift, and one hip drops a little bit lower because one hip is less stable and the other is less mobile. So it's kind of it wish that the pelvis was just square and you didn't have to worry about it. But if you have a different experience on one side, we drive with our right leg, we have injuries with the right leg, we kick, we sit differently on one hip. So we get these kind of hip imbalances that build throughout our life. And then when it comes down to load it, we can find that there is imbalances, and sometimes those imbalances can cause either pain or issues or just odd looking squats. So today in videotaping my squat form, I was just noticing that there was that hip shift and it was just kind of driving me crazy. And then I also was thinking that that hip shift may also play into what's happening with my deadlift, and the reason why my low back on my left side was feeling a little agitated in my deadlift. So long story short, I worked on the external rotation mobility stretch, which basically I did either a kettlebell lean to one side or I did the hip aeroplane where I was opening an external rotation and really got a good groin stretch. And then I did some single leg hip activation with the single leg bridge as well as a single leg hip thrust. And then moving into slow motion banded squats, kind of going down nice and slow and working on driving into the band. And I was able to kind of balance the squat out a little bit more. So I think that's really my homework for myself is before I squat is doing all these things and trying to do these tests. Sometimes you just want to put the bar on the back, but I also need to work deeper into some of these eccentricities that I have in my hips and to continue to address those imbalances so I can continue to stay safe and strong in the gym. And it's just a good lesson overall that like there are going to be things that are going to come up that we have to address. My brain kind of goes into this black or white thinking thing. It's all or nothing. It's right or wrong. And really it's just kind of a measure of gray and trying to get doing the best that you can with what you've got and then try to get a little bit better and make sure you get some good information so you can move forward. That being said, the squats today went pretty well. This is still a progression, so it's linear. This is up 5 pounds each lift, each set. I did a set of 10, a set of 6, 3 sets of 5 at 170, and I finished with 6. So we're still doing good. I'm still able to add a little bit of load, but I am still working on some of the difficulties with my hips. So there might be a point here where I will back off a little bit and do some lighter weight and work on that, but I still am going to continue to try to make some progress on this lift. I've made so much progress over the years and gotten so much better, but there's still more work to be done. And I'm a little bit of a glutton for that kind of, I don't want to say perfectionism, but there is a little bit of that for sure. And then on the bench press, I was able to go up I actually stayed at the same warm-up weight. I hit 150 for 8, and then I decided to hit 4 sets of 5 at 165, and I finished off with 6. So last week I did 3 sets of 5 at 170, went back down 5 pounds and hit 4 sets of 5. So I got a little more volume. And then I hit some TRX, tricep, and bicep work to finish. But yeah, that's it. Pretty much just as a recap, I'm just continuing to work on some of these goals. I know I'm a personal trainer and I'm supposed to have all the answers, but honestly, it's a bit of a riddle working on pelvis, low back stuff. And sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 steps back, and that's perfectly okay. I'm in this for the long haul, and I want to continue to learn and grow, not only for myself, for my clients, but also to continue to educate and try to provide good information out there, trying to be more of a cause for good rather than just a bro who's kind of just saying to do this or that. So trying to live it and breathe it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.